Hello. My name is Nick Wilson. It's good to see everyone coming out on a Monday night. I've been struggling a little bit lately. I just turned 47. I haven't been out on a date for like 2.5 years. And that's not even fun. That's the sad part. What's wrong with you? So I just turned 47, haven't been out on a date in about 2.5 years, and I've recently put a lot of weight on, and all of that is a drag, but it has been nice seeing some titties again. Soaking them up. It's always nice, you know? So Hulk Hogan died recently. He was a hero of mine when I was a kid and turned out to be kind of a shitty person. His thing was saying your prayers and eating your vitamins, but his vitamins turned out to be cocaine and steroids, and his biggest prayer was that his daughter didn't date black people. Now that's pretty funny. It's a funny joke. Like, I didn't pray for that, he did. He's a terrible person. I'm going to do an impression of that prayer for you right now. Dear God, brother, just please, brother, no brothers, brother. I live in Nevada City. It's kind of like a little hippie town up in the mountains, and I was at the bar up there. What's that? What bar do you know up there? I think I know that bar.
I think you book more weed than the bar, right?
Right, that sounds appropriate for the area. It is a hippie town up in the mountains. All sorts of types there. And I was at the coffee shop, and like a mom and her like 9-year-old kid walked in, and he looked like his shirt was kind of wet, and he was covered in purple glitter. And the guy working at the coffee shop asked what was going on, and the mom said he had been at merman camp all week learning to swim. And it made me so proud that as a society, we have come so far that cultural norms prevented me from making fun of that kid in the way he deserved. Merman camp sounds like a Pride Month special at Sandals Resort. And all of this just really got me thinking about mer people in general. And the deal is that a mermaid would be a lot more attractive if it were a person on the bottom and a fish on the top. And I say that because I have never fucked a fish, but I have loved an ugly woman. I'd pound out a reverse mermaid, is what I'm saying. I've never been to this bar before. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and telling jokes. I like this place a lot because it has the shuffleboard game here. I don't really like playing shuffleboard, but this is the kind of place that didn't erase that someone drew a big cock in the salt. What would impress me is if Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder were deaf. Like, you bring them up and everyone says they're blind, but they're not a fucking painter. How is that impressive? It's like, start singing and turn out the lights or close your eyes. It's not any harder. I watched a movie on Amazon the other night, and before it started, they said, this movie is presented with limited interruptions, and I thought that's fucking great, because if they were unlimited, I'd never get to the end of this goddamn movie. I'm from Kentucky. No. Wonderful state. I'm from Kentucky. I moved in my 20s to Humboldt County, where I lived for about 20 years. And what that means is that I'm one of the few people who left Kentucky and turned into a hillbilly. It does bother me, all joking aside, that people love to use Kentucky as a punchline whenever you need something like this, sort of like a stand-in for being white trash or whatnot. It really denigrates like the 4.5 million residents of the state. And if we're so stupid, how do we know that it's Tennessee that's full of retards? You guys ever been to Tennessee? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nashville's all right. So I was at the Ace Hardware the other day buying new string for the Weed Whacker, and it runs on a battery, and there's lots of interchangeable tools that work with that battery. And there is a dirt bike that runs on the same battery as my Weed Whacker, and I saw it, and it was just like, you kind of get lost looking at this thing. And I wish so much that I had a girlfriend so she could have been there with me and said, you know, sweetheart, you work really, really hard. You've earned it. You should go ahead and buy that dirt bike. And I was telling a friend the story, and he said, you know, that dirt bike sounds awesome, but I think you forgot how girlfriends work. I am attempting to be a screenwriter. I like kung fu movies a lot. I take inspiration from, you know, like A Drunken Master, for example, where the secret to someone's kung fu is kind of discovered throughout the course of the movie. And I'm working on one called Chinese Totem Pole, where it turns out to be 3 midgets in a trench coat. Three midgets in a trench coat? No? Okay. So one more here. Anyone familiar with the notion of California sober? Okay, great. So it means you smoke weed in an attempt to abstain from drugs and alcohol. You can contrast that with Texas sober, in which you smoke brisket, or compare it to Florida sober, in which you avoid drugs and alcohol by smoking crystal meth and drinking alcohol. Guys, my name's Nick. Thank you so much.
One more time for Nick Wilson.